Monday afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on my very first Monday afternoon show here on the channel. We're going to have a really good time today. Man, I got one of my favorite people in the whole world is here with us today. I have Mr. John Vandeventer here in the studio today. Y'all know John. He's the author of the Relics series and just came out with a new book recently. Well, it's been a few months, but Nepal. Okay. And we're going to be talking about something that is covered in his book. We're going to be talking about Cern, the Large Hadron Colliders, and what's going on at Cern. What is being conjured? Is it a Large Hadron? Are they looking for the God particle? Are they looking to summon demons or something? Okay. And we have some good arguments to make today, and it's going to be a fantastic discussion. Yes, Smedley, do right. It's a Cern Monday. Don't be concerned, y'all. It's going to be a good show, I promise. And so I wanted to thank everybody who came out to the East Tennessee Squatch Out this weekend. I made some of the best friends over there. I saw a bunch of my old friends, not a bunch, but a few. Of my old friends there, and we had a wonderful time. I was able to give a presentation on Saturday night right before Lori Wade gave her presentation. She's with BFRO, and man, it was beautiful out there. We stayed at a place called Sasquatch Farm over in East Tennessee. I think it's in South Pittsburgh. I highly recommend this place, y'all. If you got an RV, if you want to go camping, you can do tent camping. I think I have a picture of my son in a kayak. Oh, there he is in a canoe. I did not check that picture. He might be shooting a bird. I hope not. Also, we had some great friends that showed up there. We got Mark Lynch. I got Greg there. He joined us at the UFO conference. I got Flat Rock Boogers. Y'all know Flat Rock, a bunch of y'all that are in here today. And of course, Wayne Tothrow of Manimal Research was responsible for putting that together. And we just had a great time. And I wanted to share just some fun. Oh, that's me with no makeup. Shouldn't have put that in there. Okay. But this was we had a stage and everything and fire pits around the stage. And so if you ever have an outdoor event that you're going to be doing, go to Sasquatch Farm over in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. I am not sponsored by them. There's me and Lori and Wayne. I'm not sponsored by them, but I am taking sponsorships. Oh gosh. And I would love to go back there. There was so much to do, not a dull moment at all. And so shout out to everybody that I met. Oh, Blue Eyed Northern's in here. Hey lady. Got to hang out with her this weekend as well. So shout out to everybody who was there. All of our fellow Sasquatch lovers. Okay. We're all enthusiasts, and I can't wait to see y'all again very soon. All right. Well, this is okay on the Monday show, y'all. I did want to do kind of like an update of the weekend because y'all know I do a lot of research, and so that was my update, what I did this weekend. Next week, you guys come back and see me next Monday. I will be going down to, I don't know if it's a secret or not, but I'm going down to Elkins Creek. I'm going to be doing some exploring down there. That's where the famous Elkins Creek Bigfoot cast was made down there, and so we're going to go check that out. And I'll have an update for y'all next Monday. As a matter of fact, I met David with Bigfoot Forensics. He camped out next to me this weekend, so I got to meet him. He actually takes prints, handprints, and footprints and analyzes them. And so I'm going to make sure he comes on the show soon, and we're going to talk to him. I did show him some really cool pictures that we have. I showed him David Pardue's pictures of the handprints on the bathroom unit out at the National Forest up in North Carolina. I think he was impressed with those. Okay. And Adolf, if you're in the chat, Adolf's been on the show with 10/11/02, that documentary where he and his friends were potentially abducted by ETs. I showed him that handprint that was on your truck as well. And he was pretty impressed with that one too. So with the permission of those people, I might, if they'll let me send those over to David for more analysis, he said he'd do it for free. Okay. So shout out to David with Bigfoot Forensics. You rock as well. Okay. Well, man, we got a great chat already going. And thank you guys. Like I said, it's a Monday. This is our first show. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Surprise, we're live on Mondays now. Okay, we're live on Mondays. Okay, so let's get to our show today because I have John Vandeventer back, and man, we're going to be talking about something other than Bigfoot. Okay, and I know John is known for his Bigfoot series. It's called Relics, where he ties in a little bit of UFO activity. His new book, Nepal, is about, well, it's about a lot of stuff, but it does revolve around the Large Hadron Collider and contact with extraterrestrials, even potentially CERN being used like a big old Ouija board to conjure stuff up. I do support that theory. I support it. And so let's get into this today. Let me introduce John to you guys. Yeah. Oh, the questions that he was posing about this, by the way, are, is it science or Satanism? Is it particle collision or could it be portal channeling? Are dark entities being summoned through porn? Cern. Oh my God, I was going to say a portal, and I kind of got those two words mixed together. Are dark entities being summoned through CERN? A portal at CERN. God, that could have come out bad. All right, and I do believe that they could be. And I do have some personal stories that I have heard. I'm not going to, we're not going to get too detailed into this, but I have heard that dark entities have been potentially summoned through CERN. John Vandeventer is originally from Plano, Texas. He's a 16-year veteran of the United States Air Force. His lifelong love of military aviation theory and his interest in UFOs has always made him an avid reader. His other hobbies include target shooting, and more recently, writing has become an enjoyable pastime for him. His first novel, Relics, was first published in 2017. He spent over 2 years writing the novel and researching the topic of Sasquatch as he wrote. In 2018, he and his wife moved to Honobia, Oklahoma, in the heart of Oklahoma Sasquatch Country. He's been a guest on several Bigfoot and paranormal podcasts, mine included, and it was a guest speaker at the Honobia Bigfoot Festival in 2018. He emceed the 2021 Honobia Bigfoot Festival, and is going to be he emceed the 2022 one as well. He's written the Relics series. There's three books to that series. Also, he has a young adult series called The Shadow Chasers, where he's written books like The Curse of the Ishkatini, and Shadow Chasers as well. And now his book, The Channeling Nepal, I have it right here, has come out. This is a great book. All of John's books are fantastic. So please get your copies. You can get them by going to relicbook.com and get your own copy of that. But the Nepal, The Channeling, brings a new spiritual warfare twist to the alien invasion genre. And it's also part of the Relics trilogy. Get this book. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's in his book because it has real world implications, and it ties in with a lot of the stuff that we talk about here on the channel often. Please help me welcome to the show our good friend, John Vandeventer.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, John.
So I get to be your first guest on this new Monday show. Didn't I? I closed out a show with you too at one time, didn't I?
You did, John. I almost forgot about that. You were my finale. You were the final guest at KGRA Digital Broadcasting.
I get to be the first and the last.
Oh gosh, that shows you how special you are to me, John. It does.
Well, I appreciate being on this afternoon. It sounds like you had quite a good time over the weekend. We got a little fall weather here in the Kiamichi Mountains. In fact, it's nice outside right now, ready for summer to kind of just waltz away.
Oh man, yeah, the weather has cooled off here. It actually was really cold out in the mountains in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, East Tennessee, over the weekend. So at night we were wearing hoodies, and it felt so good. Everybody had on jackets and hoodies, and we sat around the campfires. And in the mornings it was cold, but then it got really hot during the day. So there was a lake where, my son went and jumped in the lake and did some swimming. Yeah, so. It was
One
perfect.
of my sons, when he was in Iraq, jumped off a bridge into the Tigris. It's just something sons got to do.
Yes. Well, I was actually on a canoe, and he kept grabbing onto my canoe while he was swimming, and I thought he was going to flip me over several times. But we held it down. It was all good. So, and we were out there with so many great people, John. I don't know about you, but what I've experienced with the Bigfoot community is that everybody is so cool Okay, there may be people that aren't cool, and I haven't met them yet. Okay, I've met everybody that I've met has been fantastic. I made some of the best friends over the weekend, and very supportive. And some of the people that I started off bigfooting with, I mean, we're like family today. What is it? What's it about? Is it just like I guess our love of something
Well,
weird brings us all together?
it's a common ground that creates a common bond. So yeah,
It does. I guess all that being out in the woods and being stinky together brings you together. Those people that get stinky together stay together. Okay.
there you
So,
go. Well,
yeah.
that's a nice thing about living in a place like Honobia. If you want to do Bigfoot research, you can just, go a mile or two away from the house, do what you need to do, come back, shower, and sleep in your own bed at night. So
Yes,
people say, "You
exactly.
want to go camping?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go camping."
Oh no, they had showers there. That was actually uh, it kind of molded my trip because I was presenting, and I know how stinky and gross I can get if we're out there bigfooting. We don't have showers, and I asked Wayne. I said, "Well, do they at least have showers so I can I can come in an extra day before, and I don't have to worry about being gross while I'm up there in front of people." And he was like, "Yeah, they have nice showers actually." So. They had little trailers that had showers and bathrooms. I mean, full bathrooms in them, and super impressed. I was super impressed with this place, and I would definitely go back.
Yeah, the camping experience is on the rise when you got stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is, and people could take their RVs too, but I don't have an RV, not yet. So, so we stayed in the tent, and it was awesome. So shout out to everybody from the squash out this weekend, and I do see some of y'all in the chat. What's up? Okay, yes, we're going to be making Mondays great again. You see this comment? Thank you, Maureen. That's you know what? That's
Mama,
a good time.
I don't know how you'd say that. Make Mondays great.
MMGA. Yeah. Okay. Oh heck yeah. Well, okay. So John, I've read your book. I'm almost finished with it. Love this book so much. You're talking about you bring Cern into this, into this mix. And I saw somebody in the chat before we went live saying, oh, here it is. It just happens to be right here. Hey, Urso. Urso says Jessica's entities look suspiciously like the Miami Mall reports. I did that on purpose, Urso. I did it on purpose because I was feeling that because some say that those entities were channeled through a portal. They came out of a portal inside that mall. Okay. And I have had a lot of discussions about things that have been, I'm just going to say conjured, summoned, maybe, produced whenever they're turning this large Hadron Collider on. I don't know, or any kind of portal opens. Okay, because we deal with portals out in the field. What do you think is going on, John? What's going on with Cern?
They've been around since 1954, and I don't think anybody really heard about them until they got the Large Hadron Collider. And in layman's terms, I guess, and I'm not a physicist, I couldn't add up their lunch fee, but it's like they're wanting to open these small microscopic black holes, and I think that's when people started getting concerned. And that, of course, along with statue of Shiva showing up and some other things you're about to get into. But people were afraid of them opening a black hole. People were afraid of them making a tear in a dimensional tear, or a tear in the veil between dimensions. They're worried about them causing earthquakes. They're worrying that time travelers can use it to come back and sabotage history. Some are just straight up worried that they're going to make a gateway to hell. So there's a lot of people with a lot of theories and a lot of things they're worried about since they've been doing this. And, I don't know anything about particle physics, but I would think what they're doing is every bit as dangerous as producing the first atomic bomb. They had a thing they called tickling the dragon, where they could just about get a reaction. And one day it got away from them, and they lost a couple of physicists and stuff out there where they were working on that. So, you know, you got to be careful with this stuff. And just because you can do it doesn't always mean you should. So
That's true. That's true. What's concerning for me, there's a lot of things concerning for me, concerning Cern. There was a little boy that was, there's a video out of this little kid. And he was probably, I'm going to say 12 or 13, maybe 14. And he was talking about how Cern, the first time they turned on Cern, or at some point they turned on Cern, the dimension shifted. And I think he said something about like the Earth, our dimension, like Earth disintegrated or something happened to where it was no more. The reality that we lived in was no more. So we had to shift into another timeline. Okay. And it was because of CERN. Like I remember seeing that and I thought, man, that's wild, because was it 2012 or is it 2012? I think it was 2012. Wasn't that when I may be wrong, but was that when the Aztec calendar was, they said it was the end of the world?
2012. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you think that could have happened? I mean, is that something you've ever heard or discussed or?
Well, no, I've never heard about it, but the thing of it is, if you do open a portal between dimensions, what's going to come in, and can we get it to leave? Do you remember it was a Stephen King short story, and they made a movie out of it, The Mist? Did you ever see that?
Oh yes, The Mist, because I had fun chasing around.
That's like a worst case scenario right there of what could happen with CERN, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Stephen King puts a lot of really spooky stuff out there that's probably real. Okay, it's probably real. I don't know about even the clowns. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? The clown sewers and all that. I'm not going in a sewer. Don't worry.
No,
I'm not planning to do any cryptid hunting in a sewer.
I was just thinking about that. There's a meme out there shows the clown from It, and it says, "Are you scared of clowns?" And Hannibal Lecter goes, "No, I just think they taste funny." Hannibal Lecter's a bigger threat than the clown.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. I'm not a huge fan of clowns myself. And my buddy Tony Merkel put out a show recently about the Nephilim clowns. Okay, so y'all go watch that if you get a chance. It's pretty interesting. There may be a connection though. Okay, so Joe Parker's in the chat too. What's up, Joe? He was at the Squatch Out this weekend. I had so much fun hanging out with you and your crew, man. It was so wonderful. Good times. Thank y'all for being here today too. And Blue Eyed Northern, thank you so much. She was there as well. We all sat around the fire on Saturday night and had some good talks. So awesome. Okay. Well, okay. Let's see. Where are we going with this? Okay.
Well, you know, as you said, one of the first things people started freaking out about CERN was the opening ceremony.
Okay, let's start there then. Okay, let's do this opening ceremony because Dan is in the chat. Dan had said that what really concerned him was that opening ceremony. And I know you were posing the question over the weekend is this satanic? Okay, is what they're doing satanic? And now I know scientists all over the world, this is all very scientific. You know, they're trying to find the God particle, and they've got this huge machine in Cern, Switzerland, and they're trying to, what is it, John? They're trying to recreate the Big Bang, excuse me, like the Big Bang Theory, right? Or what happened right before the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read. Okay, this is on from the CERN's website. And I want to note that they do recognize the ALICE program in this, what I'm going to read you guys. Now, ALICE is based out of East Tennessee, where I was this weekend at the Oak Ridge Lab. Okay, so the Large Hadron Collider, the LHC, is the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator. It first started up on the 10th of September, 2008, and remains the latest addition to CERN's accelerator complex. It consists of a 27-kilometer ring of superconducting magnets with a number of accelerating structures to boost the energy of the particles along the way. Inside it, they have two high-energy particle beams. They travel close to the speed of light before they're made to collide. The beams travel in opposite directions in separate beam pipes, two tubes kept at ultra-high vacuum. They're guided towards the accelerator ring by a strong magnetic field maintained by superconducting electromagnets. They're built from coils of a special electric cable that operate in a superconducting state, conducting electricity without resistance or loss of energy. Let's see, they have a super cold temperature, and they are connected to a distribution system of liquid helium, which cools the magnets, as well as supply other services. Thousands of magnets, different varieties and sizes, are used to direct the beams around the accelerator. Let me pull up a picture of this while I'm talking about it. The particles, it says, just prior to collision, another type of magnet is used to squeeze the particles closer together to increase the chances of collisions. They're so tiny that the task of making them collide is akin to firing two needles at 10 kilometers apart with such precision that they meet halfway. Its services and technical infrastructure are housed under one roof at the Cern Control Center. The beams inside the LHC are made to collide at 4 locations around the accelerator ring, corresponding to the positions of 4 particle detectors: Atlas, CMS, Alice, and LHCb. That's what the inside of one of those accelerators looks like right there.
Did you notice it looked like the Mayan calendar?
It does. It does. You know what else it looks like? This is from the Olympics opening ceremony right here. I think that stadium kind of looks like a Large Hadron Collider as well.
That was 2018's Olympics, or
I thought it was 2018, but it could have been this year. I have no idea. I just found out it says Olympic ceremonies. I think it could be 20, but I'm not sure. I have to do some more digging on that, because I just found that and I was like, that looks like CERN. So, and there's some weird stuff going on with CERN. All right, and I did mention the Large Hadron Collider. That there have always been rumors that there was a Large Hadron Collider underneath Oak Ridge Labs, as well as other locations across the United States. And it's really odd that, you know, we're told about this one, and they have this really weird opening ceremony for it. I found it very. You were asking about it being satanic. I think it could be. I think it could be. I'm going to show some pictures of that opening ceremony in just a second. But I have been told, okay, I've heard rumors, let's just say rumors, that there are Large Hadron Colliders all over the United States as well. And if you go to the Oak Ridge Labs website, it does say that they work with CERN in Switzerland on the ALICE project. And ALICE I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's ALICE. So AL is a Large Hadron. Oh, a large ion. I think it's like a large ion collider. Okay, a large ion collider. I'm not sure if it's hadron. It says ion, I think. So look it up. Okay, y'all, look it up, and you'll see the connection there. So let's look into why they have this, John. Okay, and let's start with that opening ceremony, and then I want to get into the connections you make in your book as well, with what they're contacting and what the real purpose is of this. But back in, 2008, they had this really weird ceremony. And it was right there in Switzerland. It was almost like at the mouth of a cave, I think. Did you watch this, John?
No, I didn't. I heard about it after the fact.
Okay. I have, let's see. Well, that's not it. I had some other pictures. I must not have pulled them up, but there are other pictures where it actually looks like entities are coming out of a portal. Okay, but they had Pan. Who is Pan? Pan is like supposed to be kind of like I want to say, is it Lucifer or Baphomet? I guess it's Baphomet,
Like
right?
that. Yeah.
Was dancing, and all these people, they look like ghosts or zombies coming out of this collider. Very paganistic. Let's just say paganistic would be the term for what happened during that opening ceremony. But at some point, I do remember that it looked like a portal because things started spinning. When you're watching, you can actually pull that ceremony up online. Look it up on YouTube. It looks like the Hadron Collider, and all these things keep coming out of this. They just keep pouring out of this Hadron Collider, and it's people dressed up like entities. People dressed up in like goat men. Okay, goat men, ghosts, zombies. There was at one point where it looked like ghosts were floating out of it. Okay, that's not very wholesome to me.
No, it's not.
No. What do you think about that, John? And why would they put that on full display? As though, I mean,
Well,
is it cultural, you think? Like maybe
I,
in
I, don't,
Switzerland?
I don't know why they would put that on full display. Now, you know, I'm a Christian, and I notice that, people like to mock Christians. I can understand Christianity's been given a bad name in history. There's things done by the church and this and that, but as a basic spiritual belief in your own relationship with the Creator and with Jesus, you know, you it's an inward thing, and it's a thing to improve. You're not perfect, but for some reason the thing is out there that we think we're perfect. Maybe that's why they do these things to offend, or maybe if you go back and look at ancient times, like look at when the Israelites were being freed, and Moses made his staff into a snake, and the other the clerics for the Egyptian Pharaoh made their staffs into snakes. And I remember watching that movie as a kid and saying, well, if this God is real, then these other gods don't exist. So how can they worship them? Well, I didn't realize, if you start reading back in history, those gods were there. And I believe they were the fallen angels. And they pose as gods. They come as they'll come as aliens. They'll come and say they're the creator, as they do in my book. So yeah, I believe you probably have people that actually worship these entities. Probably it's probably always gone on as long as there's been humans. We're all looking for a higher power, and we find them where we find them. Some people find them there. Other people find them like where I do, or somebody else. But I think they're being influenced to do that by these entities. Is my opinion.
Oh, we have an insider in the chat. We have Taryn here in the chat who says, watching from Oak Ridge, all
There
of
you
those
go.
rumors. Right? There's always somebody in the chat that may have a little inside. Watching from Oak Ridge, all of those rumors are very hush hush in this area.
I'm sure they are. Another thing too, if you look at the opening ceremonies of this past Olympic, where it was basically mocking, the Lord's Supper, the final, supper with it's just, and they were bringing their own style of entity into worship. So, it's an ongoing thing, and it can happen anywhere. And they may say, oh, it wasn't real, it was just a spoof. But you have to wonder, because they're doing it right in front of your face. They'll do things right in front of your face, and then come to find out years later, no, it wasn't a spoof. They actually meant to do it. And don't ask me who they are, by the way. But it is the nature. It is the nature of humans to push their personal agenda, push their beliefs. We're human. We do that.
Yeah, but there's a very, what seems to be a pretty dark agenda. And I think it all boils down to potentially, well, first of all, it's power and control, greed, and I don't know, transhumanism, potentially,
Yeah,
and things like that.
Look at the English language right now. Look how many words, if you say something now, it's automatically offensive, and you got to watch everything you say and accept other people's viewpoints, even if they're not yours, even though they're not going to accept your viewpoint. It's been a slow trickling of of tyranny, basic tyranny. We can't even talk anymore. It used to be the freedom of speech was sacred, and now one word you can say things in England now, or you can post things on Facebook and go to jail. And that's coming to a country near you. It could happen to us real soon. And this trickle has finally filled where it's overflowing the dam. And it's apparent in our daily lives. So
it does. Well, I think something that's keeping that kind of pushed back for now from us Americans is we still have our guns. Okay.
yeah,
So most of us do, especially here in the South. Okay. But it is, it's a attempted total takeover. Okay. I'm just going to say it.
it's
Total takeover.
It's constant pressure, like the lava coming up to a volcano or magma. Sooner or later, the pressure's just there, and it keeps coming up a little bit at a time till it explodes. And so, like, there was a, do you have a picture of the statue of Shiva I sent you?
I sure do. Let's pull it up. Let's see. I actually have a couple of pictures of Shiva here. Let's pull up the one that you sent.
Okay. So you've got this, and now this was a gift from India to Cern for their collaboration. So it's a gift. But do you think they'd be allowed, like, if they'd have worked with some other entity, say the Vatican? Do you think they'd be allowed to have a crucifix there? We're very friendly to the other side, I should say. Now, Shiva represents the creation of the universe, but Shiva also represents the end of the universe. And I think the statue so much isn't that profound. I mean, it's there. It's a gift from India. Why not? Now, they said it was a spoof, but in 2016, August of 2016, there was a ritual held there where they supposedly sacrificed a woman. And people, yeah, there you go. And people went nuts over that. They came back and said, no, it wasn't a real sacrifice. And the whole thing was a hoax put on by some of the CERN workers to kind of poke fun at conspiracy theorists. Okay. Personally, I think it was done on purpose, but that's my own personal belief. Also, if it was just a spoof, you still shouldn't do stuff like that. It's like playing with a Ouija board. You don't know what you're going to conjure up, or, I remember as a kid playing with a Ouija board and think nothing about it. Luckily, nothing did happen, but then you hear about things happening to other people, teenagers and stuff that are playing with them. Heck, I remember my brother sent my kids a Ouija board for Christmas.
Oh, no.
We didn't open it till Christmas, so it sat there for a couple of weeks under the Christmas tree. And I remember when the kids opened it, I saw it and said, give me that. I took it and I threw it out in the trash can. They're like, Dad. I said, I'll get you something else, but we're not having that.
That's a horrible Christmas present. I'm just saying, no offense to their uncle. Okay.
Well, I don't think he put a lot of thought into it. He said, what can I grab and send to Tucson? So
yeah, I if somebody gave my son a Ouija board, I would probably do the same. Or I would pass it along to one of my ghost hunting friends that could put it to use.
Well, there you go.
They're not allowed in my house. Okay, that Ouija board is just not allowed in the house. Because I know it scared me when I was 15. I used one time with one of my friends at her house, and we ran out of the house screaming and threw the board out and sat on her mom's car until her parents came home from work that day. We were scared. I had
one weird incident with my sister once, and it spelled something that I didn't even know what it was, and she wanted to get it out of the house. After that ritual, CERN's, their leadership and PR went into damage control, to say, hey, it was just a hoax. It wasn't anything, but a joke pointed at a conspiracy theorist. So, but you have to wonder, was it
that was secret though? Okay, that ceremony that I just showed, that was somebody, I think it was somebody that said they were working late, or it's a janitor or somebody in a adjacent building secretly took that video. Now, it could be that it was set up, but the chances are, I mean, we know there are secret societies. We know that there are, and the elite with little e, I like to say, are performing ceremonies. I mean, we've got all this stuff going on with the ritual sacrifices, people underground, the kidnappings, the missing 411, all these mass disappearances, mass kidnappings, whatever's going on here. There's some sort of really dark stuff going on in the world.
Do you,
And go ahead.
do you have the blue Cern emblem I sent you?
Ew.
666. You see it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've always seen that in that, and it looks like could be the Hadron
It
Collider.
does. It could be that Hadron Collider, but it's just funny that it's just kind of out there.
Well, they put it all in
it's like they're doing
faces.
it in front of your face and they don't care, you know.
Yes, it's right right in our faces. There's no real hiding it. And just like with that ritual, that picture, excuse me, that I just showed, it's made it out to be a joke. And even things like the Olympic ceremonies and all the Dennis Carroll's in the chat. Hey Dennis and I have talked a bunch about pop culture or pop concerts. Okay, Taylor Swift, for instance, doing like basically satanic rituals, or like a black mass, like Madonna doing like a black mass on stage or something.
Well, have you ever seen anything like her? The following she has, I mean, I know, I remember when I was a little kid, I was probably 5 or 6 when the Beatles came, but I still remember the Beatlemania, as a little boy. And this is something completely different, though. And I mean, I know that they think it's harmless and they think she's this wonderful person, but I mean, it's like now it's got its tentacles into the NFL, and there are grown men that are Swifties, and I don't get it. I don't get where the control or the worship of it comes from. And Dennis Carroll, he may have something to say about that. I'm sure he's keeping an eye on it too.
Oh yes, Scott is asking, why has Tom Cruise not aged? Okay, well,
That's
maybe he's a vampire. Okay, maybe he's a vampire. Who knows? Maybe it's cloning and vampirism. I don't know. We've talked about that on other shows before, and there's just something so strange going on in the world. And even with us getting more cryptid sightings and cryptid reports, and I sat around the campfire this weekend. We were talking about Gugway and Old Green Eyes up at Chickamauga. I had a few conversations about him and being eating dead corpses and stuff. I mean, once you get into the cryptids, and I was out there with like boots on the ground, longtime boots on the ground field researchers. A lot of us know there's more than just Bigfoot out there, and there's there can be something that's kind of sinister and dark out there too. I'm not saying Bigfoot is, but there's some dark entities out there, and things like this CERN, Large Hadron Collider. If we see there's obviously an agenda. Okay, I see an agenda. That's my opinion. There's an agenda for mind control the masses, shove whatever this ritualistic stuff is down our throats. Okay, and to have us living in fear. Hello?
Sorry, I had a phone call.
Okay. It's like he'll call you back. Okay, but it's almost like all this is in our faces. I feel like rituals are being performed upon the masses.
Oh, no doubt. We're being told what to think. We're being told what's good. We're being told what's bad. And it's fed to us on a platter every day, whether subliminally or just in your face. You can tell what the agenda is because it's being pushed on you constantly. Have you seen those things with the news media and they're all saying the exact same thing?
Yes.
News anchors, different parts of the country, and it's the exact same drumbeat. There's no doubt we're being told what to think and how to think and what's good and what isn't good. And critical thinkers, they're the enemy. Anybody that's not gonna, not just gonna swallow the bowl of gruel, you're gonna be on the outside.
Yes, that's right. And that's a big comment there. Thank you for your comments, y'all. These are amazing. We have some great ones in here. Yeah, it's well, okay, with the news video that you're talking about, we have something called the Mockingbird Media. Okay, so that's the thing. Everybody can look that up. Most of us know what that is. But like I said, it's all about controlling the narratives. And one of my okay, I don't care if you guys, I mean, I do care, but I don't care what people think about me when I say that I've always really liked Alex Jones. Okay. I'm a fan. Okay. And because he's put out the stuff he's way ahead of his time. Okay. And he's on InfoWars. I know it's probably going to end up in that algorithm today. It's going to put my video down for even talking about him. But at some point he said, and I saw, this is so wild because I saw a clip of this morning and I put it in my stories on my Instagram, because he was like, I don't care how crazy you think I am. He said it's all demons. He said, like the Bible says, it's an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. It's what the ancients warned of. It's what we're dealing with. They're demons, interdimensional demons. He's talking about, I assumed he was talking about something like Cern opening up portals where they're bringing in these interdimensional demons.
He may be. And, like, I got into Bigfoot writing for a bit, but UFOs were always my thing from a little kid. And about 6 years ago, I came to a conclusion, that it's not from outer space. I think everything's dimensional travel. And because we never see those things out around Saturn or whatever. Now, we've seen some around the moon, but we never see them coming. They're just here. How are they getting here, without us knowing? And my theory is, too, I think not so much demons. I think technology is angel technology, fallen angel technology. I think that's who makes a ship, uses the ships. Now, they may use demons, as the Greys. In my books, the Greys are really demonic. They're just biosuits that demons can take, that they can possess, so they can move in the physical world. But that's my take on the whole thing. And I just, people use the word demons loosely. There's a big difference between a demon and a fallen angel. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's a seed war. It goes back to Genesis, when God told the serpent, your seed will be at enmity with the seed of the woman. That's what the Nephilim were. It was a seed war. It was to wipe out the godly gene and infect the entire human race with this with angel genetics. So, the flood was as much about wiping out the Nephilim as it was sin. If God's going to destroy the world for sin, we're worse than they were back then. We'd all be treading water right now. But then, like Joshua and Caleb were told to kill whole tribes. I always thought that was cruel before I became a Christian. Then I figured out those tribes were Nephilim, and you got to wipe out that seed. It's all a seed war. It's all dark. Those are my beliefs. That's my opinion. People will have differing opinions. I respect that. I don't expect you to take mine. Just from my studies, that's the conclusions I've come to. And I think CERN's just like, nothing more than a way to communicate, a way to make it's like a modern day Tower of Babel. We're trying to find a way to become like the gods or be one with the gods. That's what it's all about in the long run. And if we can make contact with them, great.
That is really interesting. I have a lot to say about this too. Puck Elf, I want to thank you so much for that super sticker. That's so sweet of you. Lights Flaming Sphere. Who said goblin? Okay. I don't know what that means, but thank you. That's very sweet of you. And yeah, y'all are talking about Alex, by the way. Yes, he's been brave enough to talk about a lot of stuff, Urso. Okay, a lot of things. And everybody laughed at him, and it was funny, but then it turned out to be true. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they bet on. Okay. They're betting on things being so outrageously outrageous, okay, that we just don't believe it. And we don't take any action against it because it's like, no, that can't be real. Why would they do that to us? But here we are. Here we are talking about the Nephilim. I did a show recently about sleeping giants in stasis, potentially some of the Nephilim giants. There's allegedly there's a tomb, okay, or some kind of tomb, I guess, where like Gilgamesh was being held, okay, and
Right.
some of these giants, and it said that they're waking up today. Some people theorize that they're waking up today for this very moment in time. I mean, I know there's a lot going on, but could there be some kind of connection to Cern being turned on and all these things, kind of the dimensions overlapping and things coming out, and and the giant of Kandahar? I know I'm kind of skipping around here, but even with the giant of Kandahar, I believe that those soldiers went in there to go obtain a sample of those giants for cloning purposes. I remote viewed it. That was what the data said. Could be. It also had off-world implications and, off-planet civilization implications and stuff. Like people are going to be going off-planet. I think people go off-planet now and live. I know that sounds weird.
Well, I think everything that's happening is going to come to a head eventually.
Yeah.
It's called revelation. But we're arrogant with our science. I mean, science is a wonderful thing. Science does bring knowledge, but sometimes we get a little arrogant or some of the scientists do, because they are trying to become godlike, I think. And funny quote, and I sent it to you, from Stephen Hawking. Do you have that you can throw up there?
Yes, I do. Let me take that down. I sure do. I was wondering who that comment was from. I did not. Let's see. Is this it? Nope,
No,
that's your book.
Yeah.
That's your book. Here it is. I found it. Here we go.
Intelligent aliens could destroy humanity, but let's search for them anyway. Okay. Now that's what I'm talking about. Maybe we shouldn't search for them. With the technology and stuff we have, let them come to us, because I know if you go in a chat room, somebody will say something like, why don't aliens make contact with us if they're there? Why don't they stop and talk? And then you get to people, that loathe the human race and say, oh, well, would you stop and talk to us? Look, we're competitive. We fight and we war among each other, and they're probably too peaceful for us. And, I think if there are real aliens, I think if they're a life form, they're like any other life form, and every life form has to compete. It has to compete for resources, food, space, not just humans. We don't just fight among ourselves. Ants fight among themselves. Bison and everything is in competition, not only with its own kind, but with every other creature, to survive and to pass on its genes and pass on the species. I don't know of any, even vegetation competes for space. One plant will choke another one out. So you can bet if aliens are real and they show up, you can bet they have conquered quite a few other life forms before they came in contact with us. And I don't necessarily think they're peaceful. Hopefully they are. If they're out there, they could be. But it just goes against. It's like the universal law of survival is competition, and it's winning over your opponent for whatever resources. It's not human nature, it's universal nature.
Yes. Well, I often wonder where these aliens are coming from. And I used to, like you said, I used to think that aliens came from a spacecraft from outer space. And that's what I believed. And I thought, well, if they're real, they came from UFOs from outer space. But now with all this research that I'm doing and there's remote viewing targets, I'm like you. I think they're interdimensional. I think that they're accessing portals. I think they're being. I think that they can just go through rips in time and space and be one place, one dimension to the next. That's what I believe.
Well, I believe that too. Based on what I was talking about earlier, we never see them coming; they just kind of appear. And something I mentioned it in a couple of my books, but if you look at a medieval incubus or succubus attack on someone, and you look at a modern day UFO abduction, other than the UFO itself, it's the same story once they're in their clutches. It's the same. It's the same happening. So, which is it? You know, which who? You know, one of them they're trying to make us think one thing. One of them they're trying to make us think another. But it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, this is actually a really good comment too. Richard Goforth says they are here now, especially in our oceans, and that's something that I've been hearing a lot lately. And I've theorized this as well: is that ETs could be living in our oceans. What if the ocean is outer space?
Well, Richard's right. There are so many reports of you know, them coming out of the ocean or entering into the ocean. A hot spot for that's the Catalina Islands off California. You see a lot of that there. And yeah, he's right. That happens a lot.
Is that where they have Catalina wine mixers? I'm just kidding. They have. It's from a movie. Oh man, there's a song that goes with that too. So yeah, that's okay. So Catalina, well, I've actually had I had a friend from my hometown from when we were kids. He is good friends with my cousin. Okay, he hit me up one day because he thought it was cool that I was doing shows on Bigfoot and going out in the woods and hunting Bigfoot. And he hit me up and he said that he was I believe he's in the Navy for a long time. And he told me that he was, he's a woodsman too, but he was like, I just don't know about Bigfoot. I've experienced a lot of stuff out there, but my mind always goes to something different. I don't want to believe it's Bigfoot. But I can tell you, I have watched with my own eyes UFOs crashing into the ocean and UFOs coming out of the ocean from his Navy ship. He said it wasn't, I believe he said it wasn't that uncommon, actually.
Well, that, I've read a lot about that. That happened. It is very common, and I think it's something people don't think about,
Well, it's time for us to
start common report. It's probably not a common activity, but it is a common report.
It is a common report. Well, and you spent many years in the U.S. Air Force. Did you ever experience any kind of UFOs in your service, during your service?
There was something funny over the runway one night in Austin, Texas, but the military police, the Sky Bobbies came along and told us to move on. So I really, it could have been a blimp. We just saw this black mass and there was a searchlight, but I don't know. I don't really think so. Not while I was in. All my stuff happened after I got out. So.
Yes, well, you might not could even tell me if you had, so that's okay. I'm pretty sure you tell me. You tell us. I mean, there's so many reports of today. We're getting more reports of UFOs. I feel like I even was talking the other day about how you can take 3D glasses, John, 3D paper, the paper kind, and you overlap them, put two pairs together, and you staple them together. You put them on, and you can see UFOs in the sky.
Is that right?
Yes. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard it does. I've been told by several people it works. Have you
heard of the Rendlesham Forest UFO thing in England?
Oh,
okay, that happened at RAF Bentwaters and Woodbridge, and I was stationed about 65 miles to the south at RAF Upper Hayford. And I remember we'd had a real rough autumn. The Polish shipyard workers went on strike, and we were one of the there's only two nuclear weapon committed wings, us and Lake and Heath. So we were always on alert. Then we had our NATO TACABOW, which was 2 weeks of just good fun. And it was so fun, we all collapsed when it was over. But so the Christmas vacation time came around, and we were supposed to get these, like, I think it was 7 days straight that the wing was getting off, So all of a sudden it was 28, and bang, the alarms go off. We go on alert. We're all going, have to report to duty, get the airplanes ready, blah, blah. And I remember there was this old tech sergeant, and I was like, I was just dumb two stripe. I said, "What's going?" And I think I just got my second stripe. I said, "Sergeant, what's going on? We were supposed to get a break." And he said, "Oh, them retards at Woodbridge and Lake or Bentwaters are getting attacked by the saucer people." And I thought it was a joke. And then years later, I come back, and we ended up all, going back off duty. It turned out to be no big deal. But then years later, I come back and I hear about this Rendlesham Forest, and it's the same day. It's the exact same day.
No
So,
way.
yeah, I just thought that was funny. That's my big UFO thing from the Air Force.
Oh, so years later, you realize that.
Yeah, years later, I'm watching that, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, and the funny thing is, they always talk about Bentwaters being a nuclear armed base. Well, they weren't. They had the A-10. The A-10, which I went to after I left England, it's too slow to drop a nuke. It couldn't get out of the way. We had F-111s, which could deliver the nuke and get away from the blast. But yeah, that's one thing. They always get that wrong. I see on those shows. They're always talking about the nuclear weapons there. No, they were with us.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another thing. Another place where UFOs are often spotted are over nuclear war sites and places like that, weaponry sites. But what do they call those? Like nuclear stacks, those towers, like at nuclear plants, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've remote viewed a couple of those before, and they were either protecting or disabling them. I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff goes on with those UFOs and those sites. Did that inspire your books, that Rendlesham encounter?
Actually, no. If you read my books, like the first book, straight up Bigfoot, second Relics books, I bring in the UFOs, but I go back to the golden age of UFOs because I have an old character. He's in his nearly 90 in the current story, but I kind of fade back to his youth when he was a Navy pilot, and he ends up getting involved in Operation High Jump. And during the investigations and stuff they found there, he ends up going to Roswell right after that happened, and meeting Kenneth Arnold right after his sighting. And it just kind of gives a background for that character. So I like using those old flying saucer reports and stuff from the 40s and 50s. I love the whole history of the UFOs, but for some reason, my favorite time, just that time, 40s, 50s, and early 60s. I don't know, things changed. After Pascagoula, and you did a show on Pascagoula, it was like, that was kind of the end of that era. And then a few years later, you had the Travis Walton incident. And it's like things have been totally different since then. You had that guy what was that book, Communion?
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah. So it was like, things became darker from Travis Walton on, I think.
Oh yeah, we talked about the Pascagoula. That was something that I had remote viewed as well.
Yeah.
And that was the guys who were. It was another group, like mass abduction, basically. Was it just two of them or three guys? I can't remember. It's been a minute.
Pascagoula, it was two guys. An elderly guy and then a younger man. And I think the younger man's still alive.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we started having these, like, the UFOs became like the golden age of UFOs. The golden era is what they called it. Was around the time that, what was that? I remote viewed that other thing. It was like the UFOs. Oh, the Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Battle of Los Angeles. That was one of the first times where, and when I was remote viewing that, I was seeing. I thought it was potentially not like. I guess I can say it Nazi. Okay, it was like a German UFO. I think it was like German.
It was the Japanese at night.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that kind of ushered in the golden era.
I use a lot of that in my books too. The German UFOs, and yeah, I even had the Giant of Kandahar in there. I was just running crazy with that series. That's why I needed to getting the fallout in the fall series out and tie them together, so it make a little more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that kind of ushered all in. I mean, with a lot of UFO sightings after that, abductions started happening. You know, there are rumors that people say that there was a treaty between our president and the ETs to be allowed to trade technology for abductions and experimentation on humans. I personally have awakened at night with ETs in my bedroom before. I think a lot of people in my chat, a lot of people who are listening have probably had an encounter with the ET that they can remember. It's really strange how it's so kind of immersed into our lives, like
Right.
UFOs and aliens, but it's not.
There was more than Roswell too. In 1939, or 38 or 39, the Germans had a crash very similar to Roswell in the Black Forest, and you should look that up. And then there was also a crash at Cape Girardeau, Missouri, in 41. That's similar to Roswell. Those are both two interesting
Yeah.
incidents if you ever want to look them up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everybody, this is, I mean, I've done multiple shows where we've discussed those 3D glasses. And so I always wonder, like, is Amazon getting a spike in 3D glasses sales as people hear this? I think so. And I need to get me a pair or two pairs or more.
Well, that'll can't counteract your other things, so the algorithms will be peaceful for you today.
Yeah. Yes, you got to get the red and blue. Thank you, Maureen. You got to get the red and blue 3D glasses, the old school kind. And that would be actually a great thing to take to UFO conferences and places where, even if you're going to go out and do a sky watch at night or during the day, because you can see them during the day with these on. Now, you and I did a show on the dicyanin dye goggles.
Right.
That is, to this day, that is the highest watched video on my YouTube channel.
Is that right?
Yes. That says a lot right there. It says a lot. People are really interested in this because it's interdimensional viewing technology. And that's, I mean, you get a cheap version of interdimensional viewing technology with those 3D glasses. It's not dicyanin dye, but, you know, you could, if you can see into the other realms, I mean, that kind of leads us to the question, like, what all is around us right now? Like,
you just never know.
You never know, right? You never know. And now, and then they've got these large hadron colliders or these ion colliders all over the world, potentially opening up like rifts in space and time and portals. If they're doing, let's just say, sacrificial rituals on the grounds of Cern.
That's not a healthy combination. I just don't think that's a healthy combination. No.
Yes. That's not a good sign. And with their opening ceremonies, that's an interesting word, a ceremony. I don't know where that came from. Their ceremony, it was very paganistic, but had a lot of dark stuff to it. And I did show that picture of while you were talking earlier, I pulled up this picture from the opening ceremony, and it looks like ghosts are coming out of it.
Oh, it does.
Something that doesn't look very pleasant. I mean, it depends on your perspective, but to me, that looks kind of scary. It makes you wonder. Okay, like you had asked, are they conjuring something? What is the agenda at this point? What are they planning to do to humanity? Is it to destroy, or is it to help? I mean, what do you think?
You know what? I think if they were here to help, they would just land and say so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if there's any nefarious activity, hidden activity is never a good thing. It's if somebody's they're doing something that's going to affect you and hiding it from you, it's never a good thing.
But our world is run by secret societies, isn't it?
Supposedly.
Allegedly, YouTube. Just so YouTube, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Our favorite Bond villain, Klaus Schwab, or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah. You look like the guy from Austin Powers, like Dr. Doom. Whatever. Yeah, $1 million. Yeah, there is a push, and I don't like getting into the fear aspect. I don't want people living in fear, like this is all so terrible, it's gloom and doom, and they're trying to ruin the world and make us all into, we're already kind of like being
Freaking
ruled
eating
over.
yes men.
Like we're already ruled over by a bunch of psychopaths right now. And so on the outside, I mean, we're all sovereign, you know what I mean? And we have free will. Okay, but is this particle collider, is this taking away our free will?
Well, who knows? I mean, really, what if the whole thing's for good? What is the bit? What is the outcome they're looking for? Has it ever been made clear? And how is it going to benefit mankind? We get told a lot of things are for our own benefit, and they usually turn out they're not. I don't see, but then again, I'm not a particle physicist. That's not what makes my that's not what stirs my Kool-Aid. So uh I can't see what they're doing it for, and I can see a lot of bad things happening with it. Um I don't know, Jessica. There's just so much being said about it. But then at the same time, the scientists may tell you, well, that's just your caveman way of thinking. We're just doing experiments. Okay, that's fine, but there's sure a lot of potential for bad with it, you know.
Well,
And
I'm
there's a lot of rumors about a lot of bad going on. So
okay. Let's cover the Mandela effect briefly. Okay, the
yeah,
Mandela effect. And I believe that it's possible that the Mandela effects are happening because they are turning something on at Cern potentially. And I know people have laughed at me about it. I don't care. It's okay. It's just let's just put it out there and discuss it for a second. Could they be switching us into different timelines? Who's in charge of switching us into different timelines? And for what purpose? It's not so much probably to help, but is it? I mean, who's in my question is who's in charge of all this? Okay. Is this all AI? Is it what's going on, John? What do you think?
who's ultimately in charge of evil? I don't even
Yeah.
have to say his name.
Well, okay.
You know
I
who I
get
think
that.
is in charge.
I get that. But there's a lot of people falling in line and
And he's
doing
going
it.
to have his human minions, and he's going to have there's going to be promises made, and you're going to have this, and and they may very well get it for a decade, if that long or more. But then they're all going to end up, what we say earlier, in a dirt nap, just like the rest of us.
The
You know,
dirt nap. I don't know. We said dirt nap. I just want to tell the audience real quick. It's funny because John and I were discussing before the show, like what's appropriate to say as far as like, unaliving, because that's like we're all saying that now. It's like, why are we saying that? Let's come up with another term.
because we're
Dirt
being
nap.
conditioned
We're
to,
dirt
we're being
napping.
conditioned to not. We're being conditioned not to use, what can
Regular
we say now,
words.
the D word for DEAD. They don't
I do.
like that. So yeah, we can't use the D word.
It's well,
It's conditioning, and we're going
it's
right into it
teaching
like a
us.
bunch of lemmings. We're just
I
like
know.
going, you know, hopping right along.
Well, and that's the thing, because platforms like the one that we're on right now, the two of them that I'm on right now, will take those words, and there's an AI program that will allegedly, I don't know for sure if they do it or not, because I mean, I don't know if I'm sure I get shadow ban and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Um, I don't really worry about it because I'm just getting the information out, and the people that are supposed to hear it. Okay. And those of us the people that are interested in it are going to find it. So I'm not a numbers girl. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. But it will take your video and it'll put you lower down in some kind of algorithm or
Right.
something, I guess, if you start using words like that. So it's just a control tactic to censor and to keep you in line. That's
But
what that is.
this is your career. This is your profession, and
Well,
you're
kind of,
affected by this. So you see, it is a form of control.
it is.
This is your
There's a way
livelihood,
around it.
and they can affect your livelihood just because they don't like what you say.
True.
So you think there's
That's
no conspiracies out there? That's a conspiracy right there.
oh no, I think there's lots of conspiracies, but conspiracies usually end up being real.
Yeah.
True. And speaking of, I do want to repeat this quote one more time because I think it's so important. And it's my buddy AJ, and somebody in the chat was like, "Well, I used to listen to him, but like his yelling would stress me out." Me too, girl. Okay, I had to take it in doses because it was very stressful. Okay, but sometimes the truth is stressful. Okay, it can traumatize us, but we need to know it. And even if maybe he yells because he's just passionate. I don't know. You know. I don't yell here on my channel. I try not to. But if y'all know who I'm talking about, AJ, I'm just going to say AJ. I already said his name earlier. Demons. He's talking about demons. And there's a clip that I saw today. I put it on my social media, my Instagram stories. But he's like, demons. Like the Bible says, it's an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. It's what the ancients warned of. It's what we're dealing with. They're demons, interdimensional demons. And what I think personally, what could be happening is that when they're opening up these portals, I mean, you've probably seen the videos, John, of when they turn Cern on, it's like a portal, like the clouds start moving above the property there where the Cern is located. It looks like portals are opening and stuff. I mean, we talk about like all these clone bodies and stuff. I know I had little conversations with like Caleb Jade, who's I don't know if Caleb's in the chat today or not, but Caleb's usually in here, talking about the entities possessing the bodies of clones or whatever's out there. They need the bodies. Okay, they need human bodies. I have several instances where I watched the same dark entity enter different bodies. I didn't physically see it jump from body to body, but I saw the people change into the exact same person that demon had been in before. So I know
my belief is the demons you speak of, they're the disembodied spirits of the dead Nephilim, and they can't go to heaven and they can't go to hell because they're abomination. So they're for eternity. They're doing what they're doing right now, and they need a body to taste, to touch, they miss all that, and that's why they want to inhabit a human body.
Well, the humans they'll do the dirty work and they won't even know it. I watched an interesting video today, and I don't know. I think this is kind of connected a little bit because it was a hypnotist, and this guy. And I don't ask me how I had time to watch videos today. I don't know. I was thumbing through. I find time to do worthless stuff occasionally. And I was flipping through Instagram or Facebook or something, and this man was hypnotizing people on the street to not remember their name.
Oh no!
Do you know how easy that was for him to do that? Just regular people, young. I'm going to say kids because they're probably in their 20s, teenagers, 20. He was like, he rubbed something on their head. He did a little magic, a little hypnotic stuff, and they could not remember their first names. None of them.
Wow.
Now, if that man on a street corner could do that to your average 20-year-old, healthy-minded person, I'm not going to say I know how sound their minds were, but they seem pretty okay. If they can do that to them, imagine that's in 2 seconds of meeting somebody that he did that.
Wow. Yeah.
Imagine what all could be done to the masses in ritual form on
ritual
television.
Just through a television, exactly, or their phone. Probably their phone.
Yeah. Well, we're always in our phones, right? Yeah. And the phone is a portal. The black screen, right? The black rectangle. It's a portal. Our TVs are portals, and just think about all the things. And I quit watching ghost shows. I quit watching the murder, the unaliving dirt nap shows. I stopped watching those because I felt like because I manifest. I know I am infinitely potential. I have infinite potential of manifesting my reality. And so that's in a good way and a bad way. So I have to be very careful about that.
I was sick for a while, and and I started watching those shows, laying on the couch, and I had to quit. It was so depressing because they take somebody else's life, they ruin their own life, and it was usually over something stupid, you know. And I just think, look how many lives are ruined because you have no impulse control.
Yeah, they want to feel powerful. I think, and it all boils down to what I said in the beginning: power control. A lot of people just want to get famous. They'll do dumb stuff because they just want the fame and the notoriety and the clout. And but posing that question about, is CERN taking away our free will with stuff, with life, with our timelines? I mean, the Mandela effect. I know I never finished that whole thought there because we went on to talk about something else and I forgot. But there's a Mandela effect. All these Mandela effects. Like a lot of us will remember one thing one way, but it really never happened that way, is what we're told.
But that's not true. I saw the Mandela effect on the Fruit of the Loom emblem, and they were saying no, there was never that horn of plenty. It was just a fruit. There was never the cone. You remember? You may not remember.
The cornucopia, I remember very well.
And now all there is a fruit, and they say no, there was never a cornucopia. And finally, somebody proved it because they had an old T-shirt or something with the tag still on it. So why are they doing that? I mean, what's I don't get why they're pulling stunts like that. And
I mean, Chick-fil-A, that's my one. It was spelled CHIK-fil-A. I swear it was.
Yeah.
And CHICK, and the font's different too, a little on some of the stores. It's just weird. And I don't. If I sat around thinking about it too hard, my brain would explode. Okay, so I just we have to take note of it and keep it moving because we have lives to live. We have people to wake up, souls to save over here. Okay. I mean, it's
yeah, absolutely you do. You absolutely do.
Yeah.
We really do.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, we're not kidding here. And man, I just realized it's time to wrap it up, John. I can't believe it. This went by so fast. Yeah, I mean, this is so fun. I know this is well, I do have to pick up my kid. I always say that on my daytime. I'm gonna have 2 daytime shows a week now. So I'm gonna have to cut it around this time. Every daytime show. So my son doesn't get stranded at school in the after school program if I don't pick him up. But John, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Will you do you have any final thoughts on CERN? Should we be concerned? What do you think?
Well, yes, we should be concerned because they're dealing with things like black holes and particle physics and reactions, atomic reactions. Yes, we should be concerned.
Yeah, I think we should be concerned too.
And there's no telling what they can bring through that. No.
Yeah, we need to be concerned about everything that can be brought through. Keep your head on a swivel. I have been told, and I've talked about that before, about some of these alleged hadron colliders and ion colliders underneath certain places around the South, and they say that when those things were turned on, all chaos erupted. Dirt naps. Okay.
You like that, don't you?
Dirt naps and unalivings and essays, if y'all know what I mean, and all sorts of carjackings and things. Just everything became much more violent, even unaliving of oneself as well. So we do need to be concerned about this, but don't live in fear. Okay, that is my go-to. Do not live in fear, y'all. And John, you have a wonderful book series. If you want to get away, y'all, from all of the rigmarole, all the craziness in the world, get John's books. Immerse yourself in reading. And John, tell everybody about your books and where they can find them, please.
Yeah, my books. If you're a Bigfoot fan, Bigfoot people really love them. Plus, it branches off, like I say, into UFOs and even fallen angels and things. They're on Amazon. The best way to get a link, though, is www.relicsbook.com. That's singular, relicsbook.com, and that'll take you to all the books. And there's Amazon links and hard copy, paperback. Some are on audio. So yes, please, if you want a good story, look me up at that website. Also, before I get off here, anybody Northeast Texas, Eastern Oklahoma, Western Arkansas, October 4th through 6th here in Honobia is the Bigfoot Festival, and we'll be having it. There'll be some great guest speakers, lots of vendors, food vendors, craft vendors. It's just an enjoyable time, and you're invited to come out October 4th through 6th.
Oh man, I wish I lived closer. I would so be
I wish
there.
you
That
did
sounds
too.
fun. I know that sounds awesome. Well, John, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you'll come back and do this again. You are welcome to come and co-host with me anytime.
Thank you,
Anytime.
darling. I love being on your show. Thank you. Glad to
Well,
be
thank
back.
you too. Thank you. And please give Monica a big old hug for me.
Will do. Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here today. You guys are awesome. I also want to thank the girl and her gong. Thank you, Maureen, you and Gus, for the super sticker. That is very sweet of y'all. Y'all are the best for sure. And during the show, we got 2 new channel members. Thank you, Brooke, very much. And also, Kyanna, thank you. And tell Greg I said hey as well. I saw your comments in there during the show, and I did a little hand wave. If y'all see me waving like this during the show, I'm saying hey to the chat. Okay. I'm not trying to get John's attention. Okay. I'm waving. So that's my good way of saying hey to everybody and not interrupting my guest while I do it. So thank you all again so much for being here. Thank you for making this a wonderful first show, John, on our Monday.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. Okay. Y'all go to relicsbook.com. Go get his book. And I do have Nepal right here. They're all amazing. Relics and Nepal, they're all my favorites. Okay. So get your copy. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. We will be on A Glitch in the Matrix at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. I might have Caleb J. here. I don't know. I'm going to call him today. And I do believe we're going to work something out, hopefully, where he can be here on Wednesday. So, John, have a wonderful day. You guys have a great day. And I will see you guys back here on Wednesday. Y'all stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Bye, John.
Bye-bye.